Well, it all starts with your image. It starts with being a people person and building a rapport and being you. I think it's hard to build an image or a brand if you are not sincere, and because people will smell through it. So, the first part when looking at building a brand and building image is really making sure that there's nothing out there prior that you that may hinder your growth. And so for me, it's, very, if you take a look at my social media, everything is very vanilla. Because I share, my stuff, my family, I share work, I share that I'm a human and I connect and who I really am. I'm not fake. I am who I am, and that's how I'm going to show up. And I'm not going to tell lies about stuff. And so it's making sure that what you post out there, because again, you just said that you Googled all my information, so people are going to see stuff. And so you want to make sure that you're building your image and that you are your image and that you are your brand.
Welcome to the Wealth Through Real Estate Investing podcast, your source for real-world strategies focused on creating long-term wealth, cash flow, and financial freedom through real estate. Through guidance, tips, and stories of highly successful real estate investors and thought leaders, we provide you the tools to succeed and reach the lifestyle you always wanted. And now your host, Dwaine Clarke.
Hello and welcome to the Wealth Through Real Estate Investing podcast. This is your host, Dwaine Clarke. And today we have Tracy Cousineau. Tracy is a co-founder of the #1 real estate team in Atlanta metro area, ranked as the number 12 fastest growing company in Georgia by Inc. magazine, and a coach of real estate agents across the country. She's been in real estate since 1999, selling residential properties, and the author of the soon-to-be-released $1 Million Trap book. Tracy, thank you so much for joining us on the show, and how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing awesome, Dwayne. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Look forward to it. I'm also a real estate broker myself. I specialize in commercial real estate, but I always love having other agents and kind of talking about the business. It really gets me excited. So I'm really appreciative of you joining us today. But before we kick things off, I know I kind of read a little bit of bio, but I read through your biography, and it's very interesting how there's so much stuff in there. So would you mind kind of giving us a little bit of background story and how you got started in real estate?
So I moved over to real estate after 10 years of multifamily. So I was doing multifamily property management, and I had a resident who kind of pushed me in the direction of real estate, and I'm so grateful for that happening at the time. I didn't understand it, but there was a lot of damage done to a new construction community that I was manager of. And I had a year and a half old at the time, and I would drive by this college every night after work, and the entrance of the college had this like board with red lights on it, and I'll never forget it because that was the beginning of this journey, and it would say real estate course. And every day I'd run by and I was like, gosh, if I can lease apartments, surely I can sell houses, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was young, so my mindset was, at that point was, how do I make more money to create a lifestyle, take care of my child, my family, and how do I get out of this property management course? So I went at night twice a week and did this for 3 months. And as soon as I got my real estate license, I cashed out my $12,000 in my 401k, and I went directly into real estate.
Oh, you jumped all in. There you go.
All in. That's kind of how my life rolls. I'm all in.
Absolutely. So you specialize in the Atlanta metro area. I love talking to real estate professionals all over the country. I kind of get a pulse because I'm like talking live and finding out what's going on there. Can you kind of give us an update of how the market is doing currently, new opportunities, and what you're seeing there with boots on the ground?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're on radio and TV. So our wavelengths are really large for our team. So we're anywhere from Athens, Georgia, go Dogs, and all the way to Locust Grove. And so it's huge. So we've got a lot of travel room, probably from one section to the next. I mean, it's hours drives. And So some areas are harder in price points, and some areas are flying off the shelves like this. Now, Metro Atlanta numbers are down, of course, this year. We're ranging anywhere from that 28 to 35% month by month from last year's numbers. Our company is up in the 35 to 45% from last year's numbers. So we definitely made a lot of changes. We showed up for the community, again, boots on the ground, serving others. And we're in charge of what happens in this economy, in my opinion. And if we didn't show up, and if we went into the mindset of, like that Great Recession mindset that is all going down on us, I lived it. I am grateful now for it, but at the time I didn't understand it and I hated it. But it made me who I am today, to show up and to serve others. And it's been amazing.
Absolutely. And then as far as kind of like, I know that as the country slowly tries to open up in different sectors, based on how, bad or worse it is in certain areas, how is it kind of like doing showings? Has that been changing? Is you guys, you mentioned just adjusting, is it more virtual stuff you guys are doing, more, informational flyers, emails? Like what's the type of stuff that you guys are changing in your business?
We give our clients the option, phone, Zoom, or in person. And we let them decide what they're comfortable with. And then we show up where we need to help them.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just kind of giving that option as, because of course things change, and that's just the way it is. I'm lucky to have Zoom to be doing all this stuff for my business and things like that. It's just amazing how much you kind of rely on technology now.
Yet, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Praise God, it hasn't done that yet. So.
I know.
So reading through kind of your bio and kind of the synopsis of your book, you kind of talk a lot about kind of the mindset. And I know that you've gone through a lot of different things in your life to get to the success that you are now, to being one of the top brokers in that area. What are kind of some stuff that you learned along the way to kind of build and strengthen your mindset that you can kind of give some advice for others?
So I'll start with, I've been through lots of different mindsets, and so many of those mindsets sucked, looking back now. And it was, I lived a mindset of don't share your stuff. Like, this is all mine. I'm not going to share stuff with my team. I'm not going to share stuff with co-agents or other people, at other box companies I was with prior. Like you lock your door and you don't let anybody see what's inside your office. And I lived that lifestyle, that mindset, is because that's what the norm was in these box companies. We totally don't have that mindset in this company. It's share, because you're helping other, people, and you're growing them, and leaders creating leaders and all of that. But before, it was like I would walk down a hall and another, felt like Cutco. I always say Cutco knives in my back, because they didn't want you to see their stuff, and you didn't want them. And so when you're around that, that's all right? And when you step out of it, you're like, whoa, that wasn't right. That wasn't fair. Like, why wouldn't we want to share stuff with help other people grow? So that was a huge, huge thing. But then I had the mindset of, especially during the Great Recession, is the victim mindset. And I had the victim mindset growing up because, it was stuff in my life, and I had it in my first marriage, and it was like victim mindset. And I finally surrendered to it and was like, I'm done with this. I don't want to be the victim of, what are the solutions? What are the opportunities? Like, why did I go through this? What did I learn from it? How do I grow from it? How do I help others now that I'm on the opposite side of it, that now we're going through it? And I was able to look at everything and really dissect it. I've done a lot of hypnosis also to remove a lot of the junk that I didn't need in my subconscious mind as well, that wouldn't allow me to continue on the right path.
Absolutely. And you mentioned a couple of times about sharing and building others and stuff like that. And another big part of your book is building a team. So of course, like we can do as much as we possibly can, but we can't kind of get even farther without that proper team. What's kind of things that you guys do as far as building a team, and so everyone is successful, everyone all rises together, and of course it's a big win-win for you as well?
Well, my biggest thing that I had to learn when growing was delegation, because I had that mindset that I could do it faster myself if I just, let me just do it and do it faster. Or they're not going to do it the way that I would do it, and you tell your mind all this stuff and it believes it because it's coming from your mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm like, what else can I delegate? Because I know that if I delegate the stuff that I know somebody else is going to handle probably a better way than I would have anyways, and give them the reins of it, I can work on other stuff. And so that's been, a huge thing that it's allowed me to have the extra time to work on other stuff, or work on stuff that would grow the company, or spend time with my family. So delegation was huge, and it took a little bit of time. And my second hardest thing that I had to learn to get through is if it's not on the calendar, it doesn't happen. So I learned that from Darren Hardy and years ago, but I kind of put it to the side when I first, went through some stuff with Darren Hardy, and I was like, oh no, I can't. And they're like, he's like, oh, I put even brushing my teeth on there, and I'm like, no. But now it's like, if it's not on the calendar, it's not going to happen. So living by the calendar and making choices that if it goes on the calendar, you have to stick with it.
Yeah, the same for me. And it's my biggest struggle. I have to put on there like eat and do this and do that. So I don't like put like a meeting there when, like I said, trying to put everything together. So it's so tough. But yeah, that's absolutely important to be doing. So I'm glad you brought that up. And one thing that you're a big thing of that I noticed that when I Google your name, you're everywhere. Like I said, you had mentioned that you co-wrote the book with was it Brian Tracy, and you have all these articles and videos and all this different stuff. And it's like, you're on top of mind for anything real estate, Atlanta metro area. Can you give us some tips on how you were able to build your brand and some type of process that people can take home that say, I'm going to start this, in order to build up my brand and get more awareness?
Well, it all starts with your image. It starts with being a people person and building a rapport and being you. I think it's hard to build an image or a brand if you are not sincere, and because people will smell through it. So, the first part when looking at building a brand and building image is really making sure that there's nothing out there prior that you that may hinder your growth. And so for me, it's, if you take a look at my social media, everything is very vanilla, because I share, my stuff, my family, I share work, I share that I'm a human and I connect and who I really am. I'm not fake. I am who I am, and that's how I'm going to show up. And I'm not going to tell lies about stuff. And so it's making sure that what you post out there, because again, you just said that you Googled all my information. So people are going to see stuff. And so you want to make sure that you're building your image and that you are your image and that you are your brand, but so is everybody you surround yourself with. So everyone in our company, they're part of the brand. They're part of me. They're part of my family. And so it's, making sure that they are the same, because it is your brand. You didn't just pull up my name, you pulled up the whole company's information, and we all work together as one. Because what if I didn't show up the person that I needed to show up to be every day as who I really am? I'm not helping their image either, and so it's the same, it's vice versa. So that was a really big thing to understand is, you don't make ugly comments on other people's social media. You don't leave ugly reviews. You don't. And if you are that person, that maybe you should work on that first before you start building your brand, because that's what people are going to look at. I know that I look up who my clients are, or who the customer is, or who the lead is before I go and show up at their house or go to show them property, because I want to know who I'm working with before I get there to see if it's going to be a fit. So I can only imagine that for you or for me, we're checking out who we're going to interact with, because if we don't see that it's going to work together, then we're wasting each other's time. And so I think that's really, really huge. I'm not pushy. I am in sales, but I'm not that used car salesman. I always say, I just am not like that. And I want to enjoy working with people. I don't want to cringe when my phone rings because it's somebody that we should never have worked with. And so that's always huge. And I believe that that's your brand and that's your image. So I say starting there is really huge. And then it's the loudest person wins, the best marketer wins, your message wins. And so that always falls behind. Everybody always thinks it's the logo or what your company name is. And that's where everybody always starts. Oh, I got to get my colors down. I got to get my logo down. I got to get my name down. That is not where it starts. That's way later. You had other stuff you need to worry about first.
Absolutely. Yeah. And kind of, because we touched on a couple of topics, branding and mindset and kind of building a team. I know with your book coming out in August, couple weeks or so, pretty soon. Can you give some preview of what else is going to be in there to kind of, have an anticipation of what's going on there?
Well, I can say that I've been through a lot in my 49, almost 50 years of life. And so, there's a little bit of that trickled in there so that everybody can see that I have walked in lots of shoes because I feel that I am real and I am an open book. I grew up, you can't tell your story. You don't tell anybody what's happening in the house and don't do this and don't do that. So I didn't talk a lot. I looked back at progress reports and report cards of when I was little, and the teachers would say, she's so shy. Tracy's so shy. Tracy doesn't talk. Well, I really am. Look at me. I'm like, what? So I really could have, but I was stuck into this introvert person, and I was stuck not to be me and not to share because I was always told not to. And so I grew up thinking you couldn't tell anybody anything. And now I'm like, let me shout at the top of a mountain my story so that I might hit one person that maybe has been so scared to tell their story or needs to get all of that out so that they can be who they need to be and who they need to show up to be. And that's what helped me. Once I got it all out, I can passionately serve others. I can show up and I can feel better that there is nothing I need to hide.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I look forward to it. And again, we'll make sure to put all the information in the show notes and kind of anticipate that release for that. So thanks for sharing that. Just kind of learn a little bit more about you. I know you kind of shared a lot of information, but what's kind of like a typical work day, and do you have any special morning routines?
So I have this crazy fibromyalgia, they call it, if it really even exists sometimes, but I have to start, if I don't get in the hot tub or take a bath to like get my mind flowing and get my muscles and my body flowing. But like, that's it. Like, if I haven't coffee in a hot bath or a hot tub first thing in the morning gets me flowing and gets me going. I like to see my children, of course, first thing in the morning too, while I'm going through this routine. So, just having a few minutes with them before they start their day too, means a lot to me. And those are moments that I'll remember for, that I spend just even that quality time that starts the beginning of our day. We have four little fur puppies. And so they wake up and they want attention too. So that's typically like the first hour of my day. And then it just starts, and it's whatever is on that calendar happens. I have a mobile office, so I have a driver that is there according to my calendar. So I'm able to work in the back, get a lot done. Time management is huge. I used to stress at the end of the day, thinking of I have severe ADHD. So it was, what didn't I get done? What do I still need to do? And then the severe anxiety would hit, and it would just like explode one on top of another. And so having that time management and having somebody that can drive me and I can work in between appointments and wherever I need to be is huge. And then when I go home, I don't have to go home and work for the most part. Yes, I have to jump in here and there when I need to, but I'm able to go and spend time with my family, or I'm able to work on new projects. And it's given me a lot of hours back in my life.
Oh, cool. And then are you using any special tools or resources that help you kind of manage your time throughout the day that you can share with us?
Google Calendar.
Oh, there it is. And same with me. You got to put everything in there. I also have like a physical calendar too. So it's like time and, again, a lot of stuff done. So Yeah,
Yeah, but
appreciate
my
you sharing
driver
that.
too, she keeps me, she's like, it's time to go, or did you take your blood pressure medicine today? Did you eat breakfast today? It's time for lunch. Have you had water today? So she's also been a
Oh,
blessing.
good. You got an accountability partner too. That's good.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. So yeah, with all of the stuff that you've been through and like the successes and everything, what can you say that you're most grateful for?
I'm most grateful for getting out of a rough part, a very dark part of my life, to be able to show up today. I come from a family of addiction, and I wasn't aware of it. I found out later in life that I was adopted. And so I was able to take that journey back to understand where I came from on the side of the family that I didn't really know. And so to see the addiction that fell as a roller coaster on that side, and just the alcoholism or the gambling and the addictions, I was able to take that dark space and move it to work, and move it to my addiction is work. Instead of being a downfall, I learned a solution and looking at the opportunity of it instead.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing all that. And like I said, I know a lot of people's going to resonate with that, learn from you. And again, like you had mentioned before, it's just like you just put out your authentic self, and that's how you kind of build your business, because people know who you are. So that's very important. Absolutely. So can you tell us, you said the book will be released in a couple weeks, or what, do you have any updated timeline for that?
I know we were shooting for the end of August, so I would say at least by mid-September, we should be good to go.
All right, awesome. And then we'll make sure to keep an eye out on that. Is that's going to be available on the traditional platforms like Amazon or other stuff, or can I get a
Yes,
copy?
and you can pre-register for the book at milliondollartrap.com.
All right, awesome. And then any contact information that you're willing to share with us?
Yes, absolutely. So Instagram and Facebook, I am on LinkedIn as well, but I'm more on Facebook and Instagram. So on Facebook, you can find me at Tracy Cousineau Connect. I've kind of moved over to that because Facebook has this only 5,000 friend thing that stinks. So I had to open up another account too. So you can find me at Tracy Cousineau Connect, or on Instagram, it's tracy.cousineau, and it's cousin with an EAU.
Awesome. Tracy, it was a pleasure to speak with you, and like I said, getting to know you better. And again, look forward to the book release, and congratulations again and all your success in the Atlanta metro area. And again, look forward to connecting with you again soon, and have a great rest of the week.
Thank you for having me, Dwaine.
All right,
Talk
take care,
soon.
my friend. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Wealth Through Real Estate Investing podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes or the listening platform of your choice. Also, please check us out at DwaineLClarke.com, as well as find us on Facebook for more useful content and resources.